Welcome back to the LCS Countdown, where we're narrowing in on that battle for first place. As we move our way towards that, Week 7, an announcement came out that the LCS teams now have the option to add a strategic coach to picks and bans. This is an NA-only pilot program, and to get all the details on this decision, check out the Quick Notes article available on LOLesports.com. Now, adding another voice to picks and bans raised a lot of questions, so we decided to conduct an experiment to see how it would play out.
All right, they have Mundo.
Yeah, let's go with Darius here, Joel.
All right, got it.
Well, no, Joel, do not listen to Mark. It's Gangplank here. We talked about this before.
Yeah, we also talked about how Joel has trash mechanics, and we need to pick up some easy lane matchups like Darius.
So
we should
pick
good week of practice,
Mark,
guys.
Are you trying to make a hero play right now?
No, I'm trying to get Joel through the laning phase.
When we talked about who would have final say on stage, what did we say?
I lied to you, so
We said it was me.
I'm the one who's going to make the right call.
I'm the one playing.
Do you even understand how to draft?
Yeah, I don't.
Have you ever made
players good matchup.
What?
Why did you pick Rammus?
Down the same. Sorry. I mean, messed up. Sorry.
I'm blaming you, Mark. You.
I'm leaving stage this way.
I think it went pretty well, right? Yeah.
I think there's
you guys didn't run any hiccups there.
Things you can
It could've
iron
gone
out,
worse,
maybe. Yeah.
right? Like we've seen Rammus pick before.
I mean, you just got, I mean, yeah.
It's an easy champ for Joel. Who knows?
If mechanics are an issue, then you've got him covered there. Gonna have to see how that one plays out in games. Along with the questions around communication, maybe too many cooks in the kitchen in picks and bans, there's also the whole conversation around how coaching handshakes are going to go from this point onward. This is just twice as many hands on stage, Jad. How do you work this one out?
I've actually been thinking a lot about this, and I have a proposed handshake strategy. This is called the handshake shuffle. So your red side team, you make sure you get priority over the exit and reach for the back coach. That actually forces the front coach to walk around because he's not going to cross the handshake stream to get there. That way you also get to your player green room first.
Yeah, kind of like a pick and roll, I guess you could say, where you're trying to get the other guy to go the long way around so you can get the early exit off the stage. This looks really dumb to me.
What would you do, Mark?
Yeah, Mark. How would you solve
I would
this?
shake the hand in front of me and then turn and shake the hand on the other side.
Yeah,
but in all seriousness, there is some benefit that teams can actually get from this. This is why the teams requested it. There's some teams that need translation help on stage. There's also teams that actually have a team of coaches and analysts that make the plan to begin with, and sticking to the plan on stage with time constraints, adding another thinker up there can be really beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was coaching, there were a number of times where we would draft like a strategy, come up with a strategy the day before, put a lot of hours into that work, and then you mostly want to stick to it, assuming that you have prepared for all the scenarios, because ideally you've prepped for everything that they could do.
Right.
And there was one time, summer playoffs, 2015, we're up against TSM in the semis, and we had this strategy. We pretty much predicted what TSM was going to do, and we wanted to take the Azir in the first game, and we took Lulu, and I was very upset about that behind stage.
Because remember, you're basically the person who would be able to be the next guy on stage right now, because there was the head coach,
Peter was the head coach,
and you were the analyst.
Yeah, but we worked together hand in hand often to make the drafts, and so he saw something in the draft that he just kind of had a feeling that Lulu would have been better. I would have pushed for us to stay on target. Either way, he ended up taking the Lulu. We lost that game, lost the second game. Third game, we get the draft we wanted in game one, and we win. So I think sometimes having just that extra voice to help keep players and people focused, depending on what the interaction is between the two coaches, because Peter and I were very much working together on a lot of things.
And it's not uncommon that we hear from players following defeats and such that they say, well, the draft didn't go the way we had planned it. For whatever reason, when this pick came through, we lunged at this thing, or we completely forgot that this other pick was an option. And I guess the idea here is that, with two solid voices that both understand the plan, but maybe also fill roles of like, hey, I'm going to be the one who tries to remind us this was our game plan, this was our strategy coming in. And then I'm going to be the guy who looks for this changed. How does this change our plan? Where can we go from here? Should really bring some new stuff into the meta. At the same time, I'll be intrigued to see which teams don't elect to go for the two-coach strategy, because you're not required to by any means.
Yeah, and I think about half the teams are doing it here on week one. You actually do need to make sure you don't have too many cooks in the kitchen and you don't have Mark and Jat fights over Rammus on stage.
Right.
Because that could be clearly detrimental. There's already a little amount of time. The players also have a large amount of input depending on which team, and you may not want to add that next person.
And this is the right time to start experimenting if you do want to try and figure out your system for your specific team, because you need to get those figured out before you go into the best of fives for playoffs.
Yeah, and to be clear, it's still NA only. So if you qualify for Worlds, you go back to
one.
You go back to one coach.
Okay, well, there you have it. As we approach the end of the regular split, let's take a look at who's racking up up the most player of the games. At the top, no surprise, we've been talking about this guy all split long. Someday, Doublelift, though, right there neck and neck with him. 2 first-place teams.
Yeah, I do like the fact that what feels like the top-performing players on the top 2 teams is reflected on the player of the game leaderboard. I think both Someday and Doublelift are in that MVP conversation. Player of the game does have MVP implications. Someboday's been credited with almost keeping 100 Thieves afloat in a lot of these times, with switching junglers away. As they mentioned earlier on the caster desk, he has been absolutely smashing and creating so much pressure. You see 10 solo kills. And Doublelift is still right there. First place team still having a huge impact.
Yeah, definitely nice to see that. And then after the initial 5, that's 5 out of 8 games that they have those player of the games for. Right. On the flip side, I'm actually really impressed by Sven, who has 3, and they only have 5 wins. So he still has a pretty good number of those he's picking up. And on a team that's struggling, that doesn't seem to have much cohesion, he is still putting out great numbers.
He essentially got the same numbers as Doublelift.
Yeah, and he has the highest DPM in the league for marksman players, I believe. And he has done this in a position where he a lot of times does not have any advantages early on in the game and kind of goes even into late game. And while I know TSM has been struggling and there's been a lot of people who have been attacking players for how good they're doing, I think Sven in particular has continued to perform.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, of course. I mean, no surprise to see Doublelift and somebody there. I do think it's interesting to see Sven there. Of the Echo Fox players, though, most notably, Altec is the one that's sitting atop the leaderboards of POGs. Granted, they've done a lot of roster swaps, so just by virtue of number of games played for each guy, they're going to have a harder time getting there. But it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out come the end of the split. But since they dominated predictions last week, we're going to hear from the fans once more on who they believe will win today's games.
I think that 100 Thieves is going to win because they've seemed like the more consistent team of the 2. Liquid seems strong when they're strong, but they're kind of been all over the place recently.
Clutch Gaming went 0-2 last week, but they did have 3 people benched. I'm pretty sure they can pull it off and go back on the top, even though they're last place right now.
I think Echo Fox is going to take this one definitely, also because Foxes are sly and they counter logic, so.
I think I'm going to give the win to Optic here. FLICKR has been looking great, especially with JJ in the bot lane, but I don't know. I think that they're on a huge motivation streak and that they can do it.
Gonna go with Golden Guardians. Straight up Golden Guardians.
All right, there you have it from the fans. Now it's time to see where you two disagree.
Looks like a lot of places, actually.
Well, with them, perhaps.
Yeah.
With each other, not so much. Only game 1 of the day, the battle for first place. You guys elected. Jat sticking with the Spring Split champions. Mark thinks they're going to get revenge. And then the fans differ with you guys both in games 2 and games 5.
Yeah, today's the day I get 5 wins.
Is it?
Last time this happened was Spring Split.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you haven't had any 5-win days.
I haven't been keeping track.
Either.
Yeah, the fans did.
I just see this number and I want that number to be better. But I think the fans took some surprising ones here. The Clutch Gaming over C9 is very interesting to me.
Yeah. Can you guys justify that? We do know that they announced they're going back to their starting roster from before last week. So the academy players out. We got the LCS players come back in, as well as a coaching shift. So there's all kinds of stuff going on with that squad.
There's a chance the Clutch Gaming team is stronger with Hakuho back. I mean, I feel like that roster was better than the Piglet ball in they had in there last week. And even though Cloud9's on a tear, the last time they were on a tear, they dropped a game to Optic, right? They can fall out at kind of any second. So as we've seen the NALCS this split, so many of these games are you make your best guess based on the analysis, and then you complain that the team didn't play the way you wanted them to.
And Mark, tied to our earlier conversation about the old guard versus the new, you both voted for TSM, but the fans going for Golden Guardians here. I mean, win rate.
I really thought Jat was going to go with TSM, or excuse me, Golden Guardians, because even in their 2 losses last week, they had huge leads both times, and I thought they looked pretty good. TSM has blue side here, and we're talking about how many games in a row Golden Guardians found those wins on blue side, so I think it's a little more difficult for them, and I think with some of the stuff that's come out of TSM recently, TSM Legends, like you can feel that TSM is kind of at this like snapping point where they finally have to really fix their problems, and if they're going to do it, this is the game to do it, so I'm putting some faith in all those guys to figure it out this game.
All right, well, we'll keep our eyes on games 2 and 5, but first, we got that battle for first place between Team Liquid and 100 Thieves. As we go to the battle arena, Cody's son talks about the pressure that comes with facing Doublelift.
Whenever I watch like competitive NALCS, I always saw Doublelift like doing really well and always being like first place for NA carries. And as a rookie, especially in my first first split, right, I was like ranked like top 10. So I looked at everyone to try to improve and looked at my own game to try to improve. And it does feel like, for me at least, that every time I play against them, you know, over months and over like more than a year now, I always feel like I get a little bit closer to beating him every time.
Well, thank you very much, Cody Sun, for your thoughts on the bot lane matchup. Welcome to the Battle Arena. We are almost ready to go for our very first match of the day. The battle over first place between 100 Thieves on your screen right now and Team Liquid, the reigning champions of North America. Zale, I'm excited. How are you?
I'm very excited for this one. I think it's going to be a close game, and it feels like these two teams are starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. You know, we had talked so much about all the parity in the league, but these guys are at the top of the table, and they are going to be competing for sole possession of first place.
And here we go right off the bat. The picks and bans have begun. Aatrox still banned away. 100 Thieves not wanting to play around that one. Swain and Morgana off the table from Liquid. And no Rakan for Ola to make some plays either. And we did talk about last week 100 Thieves not being able to play with Funnel anymore. And in the interview with Prawley and I forget which of their players talked about the fact that Funnel seems to be dead. I'm not sure it truly is, but maybe not in the playbook at least this week.
Yeah, it's at least dead in how it was being used before, right?
Yeah.
You can't do it the same way. It would be kind of a reinvention of a strategy, more of a sharing of gold between two people instead of just full gold going on to one person until that jungle item is completed at least. Either way, Nocturne and Aatrox, two of the mainstays for bans on the red side. Smithy going to be grabbing his Kindred, and this is a pretty exciting one for me because Smithy was, you know, one of those kind of early adapters of Kindred way back in the day. He has had a lot of success with it, and he hasn't been playing it too much just yet, but will be his second play of the split.
And conspicuously, Zoe has gone through the first pick not being grabbed right now. She's been a very popular mid laner, did get some nerfs in 8-14, and right now, still no rush just yet. Braum grabbed for after we down to the bottom lane. And we had heard the various players, the analysts during the countdown talk about what they thought the win conditions were for Team Liquid. Jat wanted Double to have lane pressure, playing in a more early game champion such as a Blade of the Ruin King Varus or a Stormrazor, more conventional crit marksman. But right now, Varus Braum can be a very strong duo. There are, of course, matchups that can survive that just easily. It's up to Liquid actually picking them if they want to.
Yeah, and Zoe going through the bans is kind of more circumspect, I think, with some of the other teams, as neither of these guys really are big Zoe players. It's not that they couldn't pick it up, but between the two of them, there is one play, and that is on the side of a Ryu. So see if Ryu is going to grab that up for himself, or if it's just a matter of the teams feeling like they have a good answer to it.
Yeah, well, if the answer is there's going to be a chance to ban it away afterwards. 100 Thieves have an uncontested final pick for the mid lane or something else. Team Liquid have locked in, of course, Tom Kench, Ashe in the bottom lane. Plenty of crowd control and indeed safety if they need it. As far as the 2-on-2 is concerned, I feel like it's a little Varus favored, but not terribly so. I think this one has room for outplay, and Delph and Ole have tended to lane pretty well so far at this split. Kindred in the jungle also has plenty of pressure available. 100 Thieves will, in fact, just match the lane rosters right now as Trundle comes in for a jungle, and will play that.
One of the things that is always kind of an advantage of drafting against TL is almost always you feel like Impact is going to kind of default to playing a tanky champion, and if he's playing a tanky champion, you can kind of more comfortably pick a Trundle knowing that there's likely going to be a tank to actually ult for stats. You see a lot of people actually kind of pre-counter pick tanks as well, doing things like a blind GP into Team Liquid to kind of get those advantages. It doesn't always result in a win, but it is something that can help these teams in the draft, and I think that's kind of what 100 Thieves is looking at here with that Trundle pick, as it's not the best matchup individually into the Kindred, and you would kind of hope to have a tank to ult.
Looking at the teams right here, you can see we do have Team Liquid playing with their two coaches, Dodo and now Kane right here. Of course, probably alone by himself coaching in the team, but that is, again, the team's prerogative.
Lane swap.
But Prawley's a good player. I trust him. He knows how to play Ziggs. He can wave for the champs, like he'll be okay. Either way, it is worth noting that 100 Thieves did ban away Rumble on their side. You assume it's going to be a top lane pick for Impact, so they are still worried about some potential other non-tanks, but if you remove those options, more likely to play a tank, and you can fit your style, of course.
And the GP ban kind of tells me that Impact does want to play a tank, though. You know, when you're kind of banning out that GP, you're thinking, all right, you know, what is GP then good into? That is generally tank matchups where GP has a pretty favorable time there, and Someday obviously is a very strong Gangplank player. Impact, it's not like he can't play other things, it's just that he most often does play those tanks. He has a couple GP picks, he obviously has played Aatrox, he has played a game of Kled, and some of these other champions. Gnar, another champion that you do kind of consider one of those champions who is very good into tank matchups, so expecting something perhaps like a Mundo to come through here for Impact. Something along those lines. Could be an Ornn as well if they want more engaged, but having the Ashe makes it, I think, less of a requirement.
So Ryu going to reprise his role on the Zoe, though, as the mid laner gets locked in, goes through a solid 6 picks and 10 bans, and Zoe's still on the table. Did, again, get nerfed in 8-14, slightly lower priority across the world, but yeah, Ryu, actually his first doubled up champion pick of the entire split for a mid laner, as far as that's concerned. He's played 2 flat down to the bottom lane, but goes for that one. Kind of pick for Liquid. Looks like it's going to be Syndra. At least that's what they consider to be very good. Shogath going to be the blind top. And what will he actually go for here? Still waiting for his hovers. I actually like LeBlanc a lot here. I think you want to play an actual assassin into someone like Zoe, not a more mid-ranged semi-poke, because I think she out-pokes mid-range champions and out-pokes poke champions. You got to play a hard assassin. Mal's Flash R can be very good at that.
Yeah, and the thing with Malzahar is that you can equalize lanes very easily. Once you get to tier, once you have a little bit of mana and you have some levels, it's very easy to just consistently wave clear and then wait for those ganks to come in. You can set up very well for the Kindred here that Smithy is going to be playing, and also the follow-up on any potential Ashe engages with that Crystal Arrow are going to be very powerful there. And as expected, Impact is going to a tank. That is kind of his natural play style, and the bans did kind of hint towards that as well, but it's not going to be any truly bad matchup. I do think that Mundo has priority over the Cho'Gath, but Cho'Gath can push in Mundo early, and even with that advantage, as long as Impact is playing intelligently, is playing safely, it shouldn't be that bad. That being said, though, anytime you're playing Cho'Gath, this champion that can hit 4,000 or 5,000 HP, you are then making Anda on this Trundle so much more tanky, and that does give them much more of an easy opportunity to kind of burn down Impact.
Definitely agree. So watch for the lineups here. Team Liquid with a pretty conventional composition here. Double tank in the front line. Kindred, a very strong jungler. Fairly conventional marksman down for double lift. Not that we see a ton of Ashe in North America, but has been popular worldwide. Pobelter on his second. Malzahar, pretty conventional mage right here. So there's your lineup for Team Liquid. And of course, on the 100 Thieves side, pretty standard stuff here as they switch the champions around. The second Zoe in for you. Dr. Mundo, not exactly surprised either. And we'll see how good the coach handshake is as the timers tick down. The end of comms, and Prolly in the 1v2. Can he survive the first matchup? Takes the first handshake in stride. The second one.
Oh, it's a shutdown.
Leaves him hanging and turns over. There's a smile. Looks like they're happy, but it's in the middle of the two of them. So Prolly sandwich in there as they lead their way off stage.
It's cold as ice.
One last look at the rosters. Top laners, junglers, mid lane, bot lane, and support. This is going to be a fun one. The battle for first place, Liquid versus 100 Thieves. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Team Liquid versus 100 Thieves, the rematch of the Spring Split Finals. Team Liquid won that 3-2-0. Now it's time for the Summer Split rematch as they do battle here today. Liquid won it the first time as well as the battle comes down to the mid lane.
I'm not sure if they saw Smithy, so Pobelter was actually, you go up there and you fight to try to push back the opposing team so that your jungler can kind of sneak in there, and Smithy does get spotted, so will be pushed back. Didn't end up resulting in much, but pretty explosive start.
Yeah.
Ole, potentially, if he levels E, yeah, he could actually maybe force a flash.
The Q's up in a second. They can get the stun right here. Double ups around, but he's stunned. Good damage coming through. Nice volley slow, but Ole could still be running low. He's got to watch out for... I mean, this is going to be a bad recall anyway. Minions have spawned already. He's going to be late to lane. They get the ward kill. It's kind of nice.
And it is a potion down. So, definitely not the best start there from TL. Kind of some trading back and forth here, but certainly does go in the favor of 100 Thieves. And it looks like they actually want to maybe stay around and try to take this red buff.
There's going to be
Smithy, if he blast cones over into them, it could be really bad for him, but they do know they're there.
There's no stuff to blast cone. The first one is going to land. Tom catches around. Quick barrier shield gives a heal as well. The flash forward. One more hit with stun. And now Ole's got to be careful. He's still got his flash, has to use it. And TL now out 2 flashes on this invade. Neither jungler has done any damage to camps yet.
They can just go right back in. I mean, now it's TL has been completely pushed off this. If Smithy stays around, he's trying to go for the 50-50, but he's going to get shoved off now. So he's going to be starting no leash, down on HP. On the other side of the map, his start is going to be so slow compared to where Anda is. And what a fantastic start here from 100 Thieves. Both flashes down on the TL bot lane as well. So Anda could look for a gank here too with a pillar later on.
Early force flash. Pobelter, of course, on level 1. Did not have good ways out of that one. And really afraid of that burst coming through. And Smithy can't even take a scuttle. He's still at 0 CS right now. Someday cheated down despite having the wave pushed against him. This is the roughest game. I
mean, this is so bad for TL. Smithy is now going back to the other side of the map.
This one's surely safe.
Wait, if he gets lucky, he can just get one shot.
He's just gonna die. Burst comes in, Ignite is on. Flash auto, that's enough to kill him. He's dead. First blood. Solo kill in the mid lane. 100 Thieves have more kills than Smithy has CS.
Oh no, you hate to see that happen. Smithy gonna be respawning 3 minutes into the game. Hasn't even started his first camp.
He looked at a camp once, though.
That's true.
All right.
And now, I mean, this is just brutal. To be honest, Smithy, I don't really understand why he's even staying around. What are you going to do? You have your W, you're level 1. Are you really going to be able to actually get over the wall and try to even contest that camp? I think it's extremely unlikely. So, you know, needed to maybe just cut his losses and start a difficult camp. He can't do the scuttle either. He's still level 1, still 0 CS. Like, I don't really get what the game plan is here.
He told Anda he's here, or Anda, so now he's like, okay, well, I hit the Scryer's Bloom. So Anda's like, all right, if you do anything, I'll fight you.
It's really tough, though, because Kindred is so bad at actually doing the Raptors.
He left another camp.
You basically lose all your health if you try to do Raptors at level 1. You really, honestly, it's possible you could even die, or at least, very least have to use Smite and Pots. So he's forced to now start on Wolves.
All right.
I mean, it's level 3 to level 1. He's just now starting his first camp. And he's going to get it about 4 minutes into the game.
You know, Azael, in the mid-season, right, said they wanted to slow down jungle pathing a bit to make them not quite so aggressive gankers. The 4-minute level 2 is maybe not quite the goals there.
I think this is... I would be willing to bet this is one of the worst starts ever in a professional game for a jungler. As far as, like, the latest level 2. This could be the latest level... This is probably the latest level 2 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'll be very interested to see stats on that. But it means he loses both scuttles. He gets 4 buffed. He dies. Like, this is an absurd advantage for Anda. And the game is now in Anda's hands, right? Like, you should be the one who are being proactive from this point. And, you know, I would like to see him continue to put that pressure on. Remembering they got both the flashes from TL's bot lane. I want to see Anda get down there, look for a play there. I think that is a tremendously easy gank to make when you do have that Trundle pillar.
One minor thing that is nice for Smithy is having never used Smite, he had 2 charges right away. So the Wolves weren't that hard.
Later.
And the Krugs will be pretty free as well. So he'll get those 3 camps done. And he'll have some way back in. But obviously, yeah, a really, really painful rough start here. Whipper back and forth in the mid lane. Pobelter actually doing a good job in the laning phase. Has some good farm for himself.
It's kind of weird because I always think of Smithy as one of the guys who is the best at dealing with this sort of pressure. He usually is kind of quicker to just accept, all right, I can't get that, start somewhere else, you know, give up the minimum. But because he decided to A, stay around for the red in a 1v3, then gets pushed off that, then he kind of hesitates on just doing wolves. He tries to go to the scuttle, still level 1, can't do that either. Well, now you're going to lose your blue. Then he doesn't want to give up the blue, so now you're going to die. And it just really snowballed. And in those situations, you have to be able to make the snap decision. All right, my start already sucks. Let's make it as kind of manageable as possible. And just immediately walk to wolves, start wolves, and then hit level 2 and go from there.
Yep. Well, right now, a 5-camp lead for Anda. And we'll see what the reset looks like here. 600 gold lead is pretty much what you expect out of that one. Look at the bot lane real quick, though. A pretty substantial up for Doublelift and Olay. It is still going to be teleport for this Ashe down here, by the way. And yeah, this is a pretty solid bot lane start, plus 14 CS.
Yeah, it's also worth noting, Cody-san started Corrupting Potion, which is, I think, very atypical.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've ever seen that really in pro play. Almost always you're seeing, you know, Longsword 3-pod or Boots 4-pod or Doran's item, something along those lines. So this is super kind of out of left field, and I do think that it makes your early laning a lot weaker. I do think that it, you know, in the long run, it's going to kind of be a more valuable item because every time you go back to base, you're getting additional value from this. But I do like that Anda is over on that Infernal. We'll be able to pick up this for himself fairly easily, and that is because of the advantage he has gained in that early game. So this is kind of paying forward towards the later.
It's interesting because, yeah, he's obviously ahead of the 1v1, and Ryu has pushed right here over Bolter, but TL's bot lane has permanent shove, and no one decided to go ward the river, like blow up the blast cone, put a ward over the Drake, and I mean, every Trundle can solo Drake at 5, especially something like Infernal. You want it right away. That feels like a little bit of a misplay to not put any vision in that and have the chance of contesting. Because if Ashe walks over, he has to give that up. But now a fight in the top side, level 6 for both. Impact has the Chomp, of course, but Someday far too healthy to go down, gets a big trade, walks away. Someday so far up a little bit in this top lane.
Yeah, and that is expected. You know, you can see Mundo start to bully a little bit, especially at level 6. But, you know, Impact used his ultimate on creeps. He's actually stacking and just kind of looking forward towards that later stage of the game. And as long as he plays it defensively, you get so much health and mana back from your passive from farming these minions that he shouldn't be under any threat of dying, really, unless a jungler shows up. And we'll have to see. I am a little bit disappointed that Anna didn't actually kind of return back to bottom lane with no flashes there, especially because the TL bottom lane has been pressuring, as you had pointed out. But, you know, you can't be everywhere, and he has to kind of pick and choose. That being said...
Do you 4-buff your opponent, or do you gank?
Yeah, yeah. And, I mean, in this case, I actually think he could have 4-buffed his opponent and then ganked.
Okay, fair.
But he has kind of prioritized the Dragon, and that is the trade-off there. So the Infernal will be more valuable later, and...
Nice play. Gets the Drowsy, gets the Q to land as well. Good damage now. The trade it open onto Anda right behind him. Chomps in, flash. They get that kill picked up. Nicely done. 2-0 100 Thieves.
Yeah, really nice play there. Ryu actually doing that so well, knocking off the passive, lands the sleep, then hits the Paddle Star around the Voidlings there to make sure he connects that damage onto Pobelter, and that was really well done. And when you think about how 100 Thieves generally plays the game, it's very passively, it's a very long style of play. So I think you can certainly justify going for Infernal over going for kills when you're saying, hey, we want to go late anyway. Infernal's value just gets higher and higher and higher throughout the game.
Interesting note I want to see real quick. Cody-san has gone for the lethality build here. There's plenty of different ways to play Varus. AP still exists, Ruin King and on-hit, crit, etc. Going for lethality Varus, though. So Q-Max, high poke potential here. See that one pays out for him.
We are going to see this one more time. So Ryu running into Pobelter, you knock off the shield, so the passive does not block, lands asleep, and then around the side kind of here with that Paddle Star was very, very well done. Gets a clean kill. And I'm kind of wondering now that I see, you know, Cody-san is obviously, he started the Corrupting Potion, but he's going straight into lethality. He's not going back for a tier, as we often see with this kind of common lethality build. So I think the Corrupting Potion may be his kind of replacement of the tier. You can see he's going Bistix also, which is going to increase his maximum mana. So he may be saying, all right, I have a little bit of a weaker start there, but I don't then have to go back and have this kind of power trough with the tier. Can rush straight towards, you know, your Ghost Blade or your Dust Blade and maybe be more powerful thereafter. So I think that's kind of the adaptation he's making, and it seems like it's quite reasonable.
Yeah, and week of course, teams can grow, and I wonder if one of these wants to play a more mid-game focused style anyway. I actually took some time looking at Zoe's statistics over the weekend, or over the last week. Zoe tends to be more of a mid-early game power spike champion, actually tends to fall off because his tanks get tankier. She no longer can one-shot people, and so going for the effect might be good. Arrow's going to come around, nice knock-up that's going to stop the gank coming through. Smithy not part of this fight, but does get rooted up. Would be much of a re-engage, early pops in the shield. Level 6, so pretty durable. Now it's Drowsy on the Malzahar. Voidlings in front, but it gets through again. Nice shot by Ryu. Either way, no kills, out they go.
Yeah, well done. Pokes him out, and funny to point out, Smithy is higher level than Anda.
Yeah.
After that start. So Smithy farming well, has caught up and surpassed as far as experience goes.
Yeah.
And, you know, is going to be relevant now. Obviously, Anda's still ahead in gold, but, you know, getting the double scuttles, you know, getting, you know, that kill as well. But TL is really not that far behind. Their lanes are holding up, so despite the kind of disastrous jungle start, they have recovered somewhat, and not even 1,000 gold behind is not that big of a deal.
Yeah, 1,000 gold for 2 kills, and your jungler getting his first camp at 3 minutes is really, really impressive for catching up in this one. And now Ryu on the way down yet again, spots the war, but still thinks they can get some pressure down. And look at this, Doublelift forced far off the turret. Ole had to recall with his 5 HP walking back to lane. Doublelift denied some farm, and that difference in the bot lane down to only 6.
Yeah, and I really like that roam for Ryu, and it all kind of stems from the chunk he got on Pobelter down in the bottom lane in the previous fight. That allowed him to push out mid lane first. That allows him to get the roam without really losing too much. And TL now looking perhaps to answer on the top side. The Mark spawned right beside Smithy there, so he could probably just run over and grab that. This is one of the easiest ones to get because you don't have to kill all the little raptors. And the main one actually dies almost just purely to a smite. So you hit it a couple times, you smite it, it's gone. Very, very easy to grab. And unless you are there immediately as Xanda, you can't really stop that from going down.
So not too bad. 2 marks is pretty reasonable for this point in the game. Gonna
here,
fight for Scuttle, and yeah, easy pick up there for the Trundle. Pillar comes in just a little bit too shallow. Smithy over the wall is safe.
Yeah, so I mean, it sucks to lose the Scuttle, but still you'll take that trade. Getting the bounty is more important, and actually has 2 already, so a fairly reasonable start here for Smithy, all things considered, and working towards that all-important 4 bounties, which does give you 75 additional range.
Yeah.
Turning you from a Lucian into a Varus.
Yeah, that's exactly the conversion. And the next one, if you get up to 7, you turn into Ashe.
That's pretty good.
That's
and
pretty
you
good.
Get 25, and then you're like, I don't even know.
A level 12
A rapid fire Tristana.
Well, I mean, just level. Okay, here we go, though. Aftermoon's got to be careful. Again, the knockup comes through, and once again tries to stop that gank as the Varus ult comes. Yeah, the 1-2 of ultimates. It is pretty much impossible to Tom Kenchel into that lane. I appreciate the attempts for Liquid, but both of them get stuffed.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, they get the cleanse out of Aframu, they get the ultimate out of Aframu, so not too bad. I'd like to see those proactive attempts at place. And it down on the bot side here has not been spotted just yet, but that ward will see him now. And Smithy is in the area, so any potential dive could be answered by Smithy.
Well, flash up for both these bottom laners. Ole getting some damage in. Yes, the teleport's coming through. Smithy coming around as well. So it's going to be Poelter showing up. Going for the slow into Flossable Flash R. They've caught out the Varus. That's going to be a quick pickup there. Cody Sun is down. Liquid finally on the board, and a 3rd mark for Smithy. Not quite the paddle star for Ryu, as they got some bot lane pressure now for Liquid.
They're going to potentially just continue to push here. I know they are deciding to recall and go back, but a nice TP comes in from Pobelter. They know they can commit to the play with a flash slow from Ole. Get another bounty here onto Smithy. Very good job by TL staying proactive, being able to answer. You know, the first kind of bottom lane play was answered by Impact's TP. This one is answered by Pobelter, who had picked up early Lucidity boots, so kind of shorter cooldown on the Summoner spell there. Yeah, pretty closely matched game.
I actually do really love cooldown boot for this, but yeah, look at this fight again. Pillar comes in, good damage, but just a bit too durable.
Yeah, and a lot of this is about the ward. They saw that Ando was coming in. They can prepare for this. Ole flashes forward, gets that slow, and then flash ultimate straight onto Cody Sun. No chance to survive that one, and Smithy already having him marked up. Battlestar does miss, but even if it hit, it wouldn't have been enough to get a straight up kill, so TL even able to turn that into a dragon. I mean, this game is basically dead even at this point.
Beautiful stuff. So, what a comeback for Team Liquid. Making it look pretty decent. Their bot lane's still in a good spot. Blade of the Rune King is in fact done for double of tier, so going for a slightly more on-hit style of build. Hurricane, of course, strong affinity on Ashe. It makes a lot of sense here, but kind of trading blows back and forth. And knows Drakes are coming up before too terribly long. Well, of course, the last one just got taken, so he's got a while to go.
One concern for 100 Thieves is also, do they have enough consistent DPS to actually take down the front line of TL, right? Because yes, you have the Trundle ultimate, but this is a lethality Varus. This is not on hit, so he's going to struggle to really punch through that Cho'Gath. And Zoe doesn't really want to be focusing that Cho'Gath either. So even if they go on Impact and they ult him and they can focus him down, is that going to be, you know, the effective way to win the team fight if you have a Malzahar ulting whoever walks forward, or the Ashe, you know, with this more auto attack centric build, really landing a lot of damage. So kind of depends a lot on the poke that they can land beforehand. You know, can Ryu and Cody Sun poke people out before the fight even starts?
And they wear down their opposition. That's going to be the question right here. In the top lane, we look once again at what's going on here, and it's Someday with pressure. But now a fight in the bottom side, looking for Ole yet again. Does not have flash this time. Does not have a way out. Ooh, nice flash. Gets away from the Paddle Star. They'll take only the single kill. Cody Sun now on the board with that one.
Yep, they get another kill there onto Ole, and Ryu really has been all over the place, roaming nonstop. He doesn't have the TP, but he is being very proactive about making these moves down to the bottom lane. Pobelter couldn't match this one as his teleport wasn't available, but he did at least push in the wave, and now it's 100 Thieves looking to pressure the turret. Trundle one actually the best turret killers because the Q chomp works on the turrets, your W for the attack speed, but not feeling comfortable to try to pressure that, knowing Ashe has ultimate. Smithy is right there.
I gotta say, I am incredibly impressed with Ryu so far this game, though. He ran Ignite, he went for the non-mobility summoner spell, and yet he's been the one getting out on the map more, right? He roamed over the blue buff, which got him first blood. He showed up again for round 2 when they got that next kill on that side. He's roamed to the bottom lane. Poeltl only has to use teleport to get down there. Ryu has to walk his way down, but he's equal in farm, up in kills, making a lot of really good plays on this Zoe. He was allowed to pick it super late in the draft and really showing up well.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the onus that is going to be on him, right? He has to be proactive. He has to be looking for these picks, because if you just sit back and play a passive game and just look for the straight-up 5v5, Malzahar is very likely going to be more useful. And someday also being proactive, he has the lane advantage, so instead of just kind of sitting around and trying to poke impact under turret, he goes, he steals away that blue buff from Poeltl and gets a little bit more gold in his pockets.
Again, the pokes back and forth. Doublelift's in a pretty good spot here. A little bit of damage towards him, but with Smithy kind of floating in the river, there's no good gank to be seen. Again, Ryu doesn't have teleport. He has to walk down as long as Poeltl has the lane under control. There's no surprise ganks there. He's able to keep pressuring, and again, constantly. And with the Ocean Drake regen, spamming abilities, pushing the wave in.
Yeah, the Ocean Drake is actually pretty effective here, as well as that early lifesteal from Blade of the Rune King.
Okay, going again for the play right here. Has to dip back to get away from the root, and now Trundle is in the fray. In the fray, I should say, as Ole going to run out of health, gets a quick shot, but it's not going to be enough damage. A kill comes through right as Smithy leaves away. Onda comes down, and they get that kill.
Yeah, just kind of debating whether he wanted to commit to that fully was Doublelift, and he very likely could have killed Aftermoo, but it probably would have resulted in him dying had he tried to step forward and finish off that kill. So better, I think, to just give up the support kill and be able to defend the turret. And down here once again. Smithy is on a ward spotted, so we'll see if either side wants to commit, but it looks like it's just going to be them taking the kill and backing off once more. 100 Thieves has been playing very effectively, though, around this bottom lane.
Yeah, it's actually really impressive. Mark Z's win condition for 100 Thieves was counterpick top lane and get some pressure bot. And, well, the top lane pick is up 16 CS and has impact under his turret. We've never seen Cho'Gath TP bot lane at all so far this game, from what I can remember.
They started the TP, but both of them I think canceled earlier.
Right. So at most he started and stopped, and otherwise it's we've had Ryu come down, Anda come down. The 2-on-2s looked good. Cody Sun says he's been kind of living in Doublelift's shadow, and every couple of months, and he fights him again and fights him again. He's getting closer and closer to being able to beat him consistently, and maybe down in farm, but up in kills. This spot lane is working.
Yeah, it certainly is. But to TL's credit, they have not really kind of given up that killing blow, really, in the bottom lane. The lane has not been broken open. Doublelift himself has never died. He still has very good farm. The turret has never really been able to be pressured after any of those kills. So they're holding on. It's fairly even. 100 Thieves certainly out to a lead, but Ryu got that. Nicely done. This time Smite actually comes in from Smithy, and to his credit, it is a difficult one to do. There's already a Luden's done, and Palisar can do so much damage to that, so...
Yep. Not going to land the double. Here's where we push in. Look how low this turret is, by the way. 20% on the health bar. Ryu's done it all this game. Gotten kills, roamed down, and pressured the crap out of this turret. It's very nearly dead. Bot lane also being pressured. The race is who's going to get it first. Looks like it'll be Cody Sun in the bottom lane, as there is no champion contesting him. 100 Thieves well on the board here. Yeah,
TL decided to actually make the swap up to top lane. They were hoping to get Rift Herald and pressure that top lane turret, but they lost Scuttle, and now they're being pressured at the Rift Herald. We'll see if they can even commit to finishing this.
Gonna try. Paddlestar versus Smite once again. Both junglers have it. Now the ult comes across, suppression, going for the burst damage. They will pick up Anda. That's the 4th mark in, and now to fight continually as Ryu has to back up. Gets not much as the Voidlings run towards him, has to give this one away. A nice pickup there for Liquid. They grab this. Yeah, way to battle back there from Liquid. I mean, that is right as the Baron is spawning also, right? That is the last seconds they can actually grab that Rift Herald. They do secure that. They secure a kill. They are looking to pressure on the top side and in the bottom lane. They did lose the first turret, but if they can trade a turret back with that Rift, won't be too bad. And this would be the 4th marker for Smithy, so he really wants it. Or no, he already has 4. He got the assist in that kill. But won't be able to grab the mark. Doublelift, though, pressuring pretty heavily here on the top side, and Smithy coming to support. That's pretty good damage uncontested for the most part right there. Yeah. Not exactly 1v2. Now Afro's showing up, but with Cody Sun as well, it makes it a 3-on-3, and this might just slow down the aggression right here. As he's there, he has his wave clear, but TL have been pretty happy to stay on the map. I do want to take a quick aside and give credit. I like that Doublelift bought just a cloth armor and did not do anything more with it. I think it is the exact right choice against Lethality Varus, and especially not going up to Ninja Tabby. You spend 500 gold on 5 armor. Upgrading to Tabby, it is very inefficient against physical damage spells. You use different cloth armor, you can buy a GA later. I think it is the absolutely right choice, and I want to give him credit where it's due.
Yeah, and you can turn that later into a Guardian Angel or something along those lines, so I do think it's really smart. I mean, to put it into context, 18 lethality on a completed Youmuu's Ghostblade. For 300 gold, you can get 15 armor on a cloth armor. I mean, that almost completely eliminates that kind of lethality.
And right now it is the same, because he's level 11 on Varus. It's literally 15 armor, 10 versus 15 armor, so has nullified that a fair bit. And now another Drake picked up. This Team Liquid have now taken control of some of that map.
Yeah, well done there. And kind of quietly, the top side has been farming away. You know, Impact has stacked up his feast up to 6. Which is going to be pretty nice for him, but they're making the move down. Anda is heading down there. We'll see if Smithy wants to commit to this 2v2.
No turret behind Impact. You might have to be a bit careful, but now he's got Smithy coming around. Spotted on a ward, though, means the fights will stop. And a small ceasefire letting kill the minions. Now mid lane tier 2 will fall as well. And 2-1 in turrets, 100 Thieves. So they have given up some Drakes to Liquid back-to-back. Are still the ones up in gold and largely up in map control. Yeah, and the Rift Herald has already been used for TL, so that's not really kind of sitting back waiting to cash in. They are up a couple thousand gold. TL still, is in a fairly good position. You can see 2 items already completed here on Doublelift. His team fight damage is going to be fairly high. Smithy working towards Blade of the Rune King also. So double Marksman plus Malzahar and the Feast from the Cho'Gath means that even Mundo, even Trundle, when they get to this super stank status, are not that safe in the front line. You can be focus fired down. You can be burst out and not given that chance to heal back up. I want to see them pick up an additional kind of healing debuff item. There is, a Thornmail on Impact, but you need an Executioners because the Mundo doesn't have to auto-attack Impact, right? You need something there to guarantee a Grievous Winds debuff. Round 3, Tom Kinchel brings them in. Ole looks for someone to kill, and someone going to have to flash out from the Tongue Lash and the arrow afterwards. But ult for flash I will take every time. Yeah, certainly nice. So good trying to be proactive with those plays. You have the double ultimates available, looking for something down on the bottom side, and you can see QSS is starting to come through. A couple already completed, 400 Thieves. The obvious answer is that is for Malzahar, but it's also very strong against the Ash Arrow too, so kind of doubly useful here, and likely going to see a lot of people building it up. It's also why Aphromoo is playing Cleanse with the Spellbook. Yeah. Haven't really seen him actually make many, if any, swaps around this game. He beat the bot lane a couple of times so far, or at least once so far, but I've not seen the opposite. Can only be once, obviously. Yeah, because he hasn't made the rounds, so. Well, a Drowsy comes through onto Tom Kench yet again, puts a quick shield on, and is the front line. Pretty good burst, so the fight's going to come through. Ole, nearly dead, flashed out, staying alive. But no, the last little bit comes through, and I think with the ultimate, managed to get that last little tick of damage. Pobel to cancel his TP also, so 100 Thieves can really pressure here. They know it is a 5v3. They're just going to try to run it down mid. They could look to try to pressure on the turret, but Pobelter is going to knock down top turret as well, so it'll have to be the trade. And they have inside track. 50 cannot defend this wave very easily, so a lot of damage going to come through. They're just blitzing this one down. 100 Thieves. Nicely done. About to knock down mid lane tier 2. Top lane Doubter does get traded. A gold value not that different between those two turrets, but still a nice pick and more map control for 100 Thieves. Yeah, it's a good play here from the 100 Thieves, and you can see Anda is going to be going very much kind of like a supportive style build. He's building into Knight's Vow. He already has the QSS, so this is more kind of utility style Trundle. Could very easily see a Zeke's there also, trying to buff up some of his teammates. And you do just get such insane efficiency from Trundle here when you have the challenging smite, when you have the ultimate, when you have the Zeke's and the Knight's Vow and all these things coming through, and you're just getting kind of so much bang for your buck. Absolutely agree. This is going to be a fun one to watch for in the team fights as these items stack up. This Trundle pretty durable, and watch again this pick on Ole. Yeah, they know Pobelter's up on the top side, so they're going to step forward. Nice pink ward in from Anda, sets this up, and the straight up ultimate onto Ole, just bursting him down. Last tick of that Trundle ultimate is actually what kills him, and Ole reacted fairly well. It's just so much damage actually was able to come through. He's not really very tanky. He doesn't have any armor, so Cody-san with the lethality can actually poke him very heavily. With 2 lethality items already completed, no armor purchased here for Ole. He is going to be susceptible to that. I mean, for reference, Doublelift has more armor than Ole right now. Yeah. By 4. And that's not an incorrect build by any means, I think, from Ole. No, I don't. The way the game shakes out. Absolutely the case here. So fun to watch that, but again, it is still a bit of a mid-game spike. His double lethality now done for Cody Sun. His relevant abilities are now maxed. Q and E are all ranked 5. Oh, that is damage. He's still burning down. This could be close. Has to ult. Maybe would have lived it. Yeah, but he still survives it, and Ryu just creating map pressure out of nothing.
Yeah, nicely done from Ryu. I mean, he's going to be able to... That wasn't even as true as Ignite. He picked that one up.
Yeah.
So really very little cost to get the Kindred ultimate out, to send Smithy back to base. 4 QSSs now done here, 400 Thieves. I think someday might just not purchase one, but even if you don't, again, Mundo can be burst down by double marksman plus Malzahar and a true damage feast coming out of the Cho'Gath. So he has to be somewhat careful about that. And, you know, the Malzahar attacks, the Ashe attacks certainly being paid here by 100 Thieves, but they are enough ahead in gold that it's working out for them. Their combat stats have not gotten really far behind. You know, that's more of a problem if you're down a few thousand gold plus have to make those buys.
Huh. Thankfully, yeah, they have the money for it. So, what's up?
Cody Sun just picked up a tier. Like,
yeah, he had a tier a while ago. He went Yomo's tier on like his third back, and so he's been stacking it for a little while there. But yeah, he did go for a bit of an earlier. Yeah, it's not to be fast to stack on this champion, but nice pickup right there. Ryu now in the middle of all of it, really low on health. 150 left on him. Oh, the arrow! Good flash away, and a nice shot by Double. If maybe the sign of things to come as Ryu is off the map for sure, and Team Liquid start pushing.
This has been a hell of a game. Both these teams battling back and forth so closely. 100 Thieves is getting the best of them so far, up a few thousand gold. They do have the Infernal advantage for that scaling, but these two teams are playing such a strong game, and TL wants this next Infernal. They don't want to give over a double Infernal advantage to 100 Thieves, who they know wants to take the game late, who they know wants to play slowly, and TL should be able to just burst this down before 100 Thieves can get in range.
There you go, the Drake picked up without any problems. Liquid 3 Drake pickups in a row, despite the fact that 100 Thieves been knocking down turrets. They've been trading neutrals in that regard. Gold difference, of course, still 4,000. Some of that, though, answered by the fact that those were turrets. A little bit of poke towards the mid lane, Impact a bit injured. There's the flash in, they're gonna land the ulti. Can they burst down Cho'Gath? He's gonna burn his flash to get away. The pillar wouldn't have stopped him anyway, so a trade of flashes.
Yeah. And I mean, I like the proactive play, but he is now in a dangerous position. He's not the one with Tahm Kench sitting behind him. You are a Varus now with no flash. Yes, you got the Cho'Gath's flash, but Cho'Gath is, in general, going to be much less vulnerable than you are. When there is, you know, people like this Ashe who can hit you with an arrow, or Malzahar for the flash ult. He has the QSS, but is going to have to be good about using that to keep himself safe.
Looking to play the map a little bit better is Team Liquid, now answering 3 to 4 in turrets, and again, those 3 unanswered Drakes. They've gotten more around this map, to be honest. And now maybe the reset as the outer turrets are all gone for every single team.
And double play to the Rune King, now done, and the Executioners is finally picked up there by Smithy. Love the buy against Trundle, against Mundo. It is insanely effective. Really such an efficient buy. For that 800 gold, there's nothing that comes even close to the teamfight effectiveness. If you are applying that during the Trundle ultimate, during the Mundo ultimate, you are effectively dealing, you know, hundreds, if not at times thousands of damage.
Thousands of true damage when he ults if your Executioner's on him. It's absolutely massive and a very big deal, and very smart of him to pick it up. Upgraded boots not far away, I assume, for him.
Yeah.
Other items still picking up around the world. 2 big items in for Impact. A solid 3 for Someday here, as he's got Sunfire Visage and the Stone Plate to be super durable in the front line.
Have to remember, though, Executioners plus no QSS, that can be the target for Pobelter. We'll see if they go for him, if they can actually focus him down. But it's 100 Thieves trying to get vision around Baron, trying to set that up as their next steps. And if they can deny all Team Liquid's vision around this area and set up their own, then it's such a good chance for Cody Sun and Ryu to be able to poke out their opponents, you know, maybe not get a kill, but send them back to base, and then you can start up the Baron. TL does have a very good ward, though, that is a little bit north of the pit. These 2 wards here have not been spotted yet. We'll see if they both get caught. One is spotted. If the second is as well, things get a lot more difficult. But even just that 1 ward does at least give them some knowledge, right? They can see if people are going to enter that pit, and they know, as a result, that 100 Thieves is just baiting for now.
Now this could give Liquid some space and some time, because dealing with poke is going to be hard. Varus and Zoe from Fog of War. And yeah, that's enough vision that you will probably be able to know if they're trying. Now that control is going to stop it. And Anakin would knock down that ward. Take 30 gold for himself. And now it gets hard for Liquid. Now they're going to constantly play around Hawkshot, play around Fog of War.
And the blue trinkets, right? Blue trinket is up on Ashe, so he does have another way to check it. But yeah, you have to start cycling through this. If you don't see them, you have to give the respect that they could be on that Baron, that they could be killing that fairly quickly. This isn't the highest DPS team, and there is no Mountain Dragon, so you know, it's not going to instantly die, but certainly need to be in position to respect that and respond to it.
Be around the back, sees Summoner. This could be an easy duel for Mundo. Meanwhile, the fight towards Cody Sun burns QSS. Out he goes. Smithy actually pushing out Someday, really handily winning that one-on-one.
Cody Sun now no QSS, no flash. Malzahar can look for a flash ultimate on the Varus if the opportunity arises. We'll see if they go for it.
Cho'Gath, knock over the front line. Will they maybe burn him down? Burns a quick stopwatch. How about the re-engage? Those 2 seconds pass. Again, Burst comes through. An arrow quickly chomped up by Ole, keeping the teammates alive, and out they go. Spits out a Cho'Gath, staying alive. Surprised he can fit him in his mouth, but you know what? That's okay.
Open wide.
Mechanics are mechanics. That's how it goes there.
Yep. And you can see Mundo really did get shredded. I mean, he pops his ultimate, walks forward, barely even gets in range of the mark spin, and has to pop his stone plate and run out. And there's the
flash ult, as you called it. Azale isn't going to be enough damage. They Smithy around the back. They get the pickup, and the rest of the team stays alive. Now the follow through and is going to drop as well. The slow on Someday. They're going to go for the tower dive. He's got the stopwatch. Drowsy's not going to land. They will not complete this one just yet. A big chunk from Zoe. All said, 2 for 0. Team Liquid played that one beautifully.
That was the window I talked about. They got the flash on the traded flash. They got the QSS out of that Ash Arrow, and they are moving to the Baron. This should be theirs. They have the feast. They have the smite, and TL looking to take control of this game.
It's going to need to be a miracle play from Ryu, Afro, and Someday in a 3 versus 5. Bit of damage towards Cho, but again, no easy way to secure. 1,000 quickly picked up a good smite for Smithy, and they can walk away with a clean Baron pickup.
Very, very well done from TL. You know, downing gold, downing kills for pretty much this whole game. But they find the window. Again, this is what I talked about. They know QSS is down. They know Flash is down for a little bit. So Pobelter sees his chance. Flashes over. Full commitment onto this. Smithy flashes in as well. They kill off the Varus. Zoe is up in the top side, so there's no more damage left in this squad. 100 Thieves pulled apart there, and just so well done. I mean, that is so many things coming together. It's the cooldowns being forced. It's the mini wave being prepped on the top side that forces Zoe to not be there. It's Pobelter having his own cooldowns up, and really TL did a good job of tracking where 100 Thieves were and what those cooldowns were at.
I really appreciate the aggressive play, flashing into the Raptor pit in the face of 4 opponents, saying, it's okay, my pass is on, guys. Dive with me, and it really did work out. A beautiful, beautiful play out of Pobelter. Really, really smart to go for that one. And now Team Liquid with this Baron buff, gold basically tied. We'll see how much of a power play they're going to get here.
Yeah, and with those third items coming through for Doublelift and Pobelter, it just gets harder and harder for Someday and Anda to move forward. IE as well, double-bladed Rune King. These guys are going to get shredded. Smithy is working towards a cleaver, which is going to help out even more there, and it's going to be rough, you know, trying to walk forward into a Malzahar. He is very, very powerful. It's down to 100 Thieves to land the poke, and if they can't get the kills.
Face first towards Anda. He's going to QSS away an Ash Arrow here. Otherwise, the team disengaged. A couple hundred damage down in top lane tier 2, but still time to play with. Jungle Camp's taken away. Blast Cone's blown up. Team Liquid still looking for more.
And again, that's another cooldown to track. The QSS is down for Anda. Now Pobelter can look for an ultimate on him in the next team fight, so he has to be very, very careful about that. And you know, Poke does not deal well with Baroned up minions. You know, the Varus with this lethality Varus and the Zoe can struggle to actually, you know, burst down these waves, and that is why they are being pressured in on all sides. Mini waves have been prepped in top, middle, and bot for TL. They're going to knock down the inners in top and middle. And bottom lane is already shoved up, and they're going to get this turret too.
Time catch up for the rotation. Ole presses button a lot this game, making sure they're in the right place at the right time before their opponents happen to be in this turret. Now maybe have to respect possible re-engage, and as Chomps as the Varus ult comes down, there is no good engage if Double is frontlining, and Ole is not hitting minions.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets so hard, right? Double can lifesteal back up. He has the overheal. He has the Tahm Kench behind him, and this turret will be going down. Ryu needs to land critical pokes for them to have really any chance, but he's not finding the opportunities, and TL certainly has more than enough damage to deal with the 100 Thieves squad in a straight up 5v5.
Absolutely. Team Liquid are starting to walk over this game, and they have not spent in a while. They're sitting on a good 7,000 gold in inventory. Yeah. So in actual items, they're not even ahead literally at this moment. The difference, of course, being the Baron buff makes them strong, and the minions make them strong, and 100 Thieves unable to get in. Their engage tools are only so good. Astro not quite going to land going through the uprights as they keep pushing in. Golden Pockets could be dangerous, though. Ryu not going to find any purchases yet, though. Down to half HP, good damage across the wall. But as the mini wave goes away, it might be time for Liquid to reset. 15 seconds left on Baron.
Yeah, probably retreat back to Dragon, grab that up. That would be triple Ocean, which again makes, you know, their kind of sustained push so hard to deal with, because even if you land the poke, Triple Ocean is one of the best dragons you could possibly get against a poke-reliant squad. Talking about it a lot, Ryu and Cody-san have to chunk TL out, but even if you land that poke, Triple Ocean will regen that so easily. All the lifesteal on this team will regen that so easily. Really, your only target is maybe the Malzahar, because Smithy and Doublelift are going to lifesteal back up. There's a Warmogs on impact. Olay is not really the most effective target to try to poke, and makes it hard.
Way to be a broic. Smithy impacts like, guys, I want another stack. He's like, yeah, man, sure thing. Number
First
7.
stack in like 20 minutes.
Well, sure, yeah. He got a 6 on minions, and he's just stuck there waiting for, Smithy outsmited him at Baron. There's some tough love right there. Like, maybe you use ult better. So, but yeah, beautiful stuff right here. Team Liquid now ready to walk away with this one and take sole control of first place if they close this one out. They're, of course, 2-0 if they win against 100 Thieves on the split. 3-0 from the Spring Split Finals. They kind of cement themselves as the best team in North America.
Yeah, the champions coming back into Summer. We're close with many other squads for a long time, but have had some weak performances, but I would say that their strong performances have been some of the most dominant in the entire league.
Yeah.
When TL looks good, they look great. And today they have been performing well, because this to me is not 100 Thieves rolling over. This is 100 Thieves playing a strong game, but TL just playing a better one.
Yeah, I think 100 Thieves have looked pretty good, and the fact that they went a little bit more aggressive in the mid-game, actually got some gold leads, had a really slick level 1 and a good first 3 levels kind of holding Smithy down. But Smithy, to his credit, started 0-1-0, got his first camp at 3 or 4 minutes, and has come back being level 17, being 2-1-2, and this guy is just such a great jungler to come back to that kind of stuff. And now, a 2-1-1 versus Someday in the bottom side, and he's just trying to run away, trying to hold as much as he can. A great arrow again for Double, but the flashes were up, so getting away still is Someday.
Yeah, nice flash there from Someday, but again, Double has been pretty darn good with these ultimates, and credit to Olay. He's been very proactive with the Abyssal Voyage, moving across the map, getting the Summoner out, getting the ultimate, getting the Stone Blade, putting on pressure where he can. It's really nice to see a strong game here, I'd say, from Olay.
And of course, this game is not out of reach. It is a 3,500 gold lead with 60,000 gold for each team. So even though the game has been slipping away from 100 Thieves, in inventory value, in gold value, it's close. The question and concern I have, though, is the scaling of poke-based champions in team fights.
Exactly. I mean, it's just, yes, the gold is pretty close, but it's just harder to make it work with 100 Thieves team, especially against Triple Ocean, right? I think that really is the X factor there, because with these builds, it's all about knocking them down, getting them low before you fully engage, and they're having an incredibly hard time doing that. I mean, yes, they are still up 1 kill. Yes, they are only 3K down, almost 40 minutes into the game, but when was the last time it felt like they were dictating the pace of the game? When was the last time it felt like they were, winning these fights? And to me, that answer was about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's been Liquid's game for a while. Theirs to play, theirs to win, theirs to lose. Now look at the mid lane as the waves get pushed back and forth. Looking for the first bit of CC. Doubles the half HP though. Might be a bit of a concern. Now Impact in the front, pops the Stone Blade. Could be some good damage. Looking for Cody on the back line. There was Impact. Wants to assassinate, but can't quite get in there. So a retreat as the teams are now on the opposite sides of the map. More pokes back and forth from the Zoe. Out goes Welter, losing his passive.
It was a good fight from 100 Thieves. I mean, they actually zoned Pobelter and Doublelift out. They got, Cody-san hit his poke on Doublelift, then Ryu hit his poke on Doublelift as well, so that kind of gave them an advantage in it, but now 100 Thieves.
Double on double, quick stun's gonna land, Q's has popped, and Ryu is back to safety, but Smithy is putting in damage, and an ult in the front line puts good push towards Someday. Now it's Smithy pushed away, has to put in your ulti, has to run away, and a quick heal comes in, but this could be the fight for 100 Thieves. They've got the burst to knock down Oli, and Smithy can't fight either, so Double, can you survive a Mundo in your face under 1,000 HP? And in the front line, chomped, and almost going down, and he does burn. Cody-san's gonna fall as well, the Malefic Visions showing them a vision of victory now as Team Liquid want to push back in. They've got the 4v3 with Ocean regenning them back up.
Yeah, and Cho'Gath has the Warmogs. He's going to heal right back up to full. Smithy is looking on the side, but they could potentially just go straight on to Baron. They have the Smite, no Feast available critically, so we'll see if 100 Thieves can poke them off.
Well, it's the same 3 members. There's no Smite for 100 Thieves. It should be an easy pickup for level 18 Smithy. Full HP, a nice bit of poke, but it's not going to be enough. They can walk it down. A good Smite comes in. Afro will die for this, and Ryu not going to find his way in either. So despite losing a member at the start, TL still fight that one, and a bit nicer. A great block by Impact saved Doublelift's GA.
Yeah, and Afro actually spellbook swapped to Smite to try to steal it there, which is a very heads-up play from him, but he didn't quite get it. So a really smart attempt. Had that paid off, that would have been one of the highlight plays of the year.
Absolutely one of the sickest appearances he did it. That was nice, but still, this is a great fight from TL despite the 4v5.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves honestly did a good job landing a lot of poke. You can see Cody-san is kind of trying to fire through towards that back line. They're trying to land as much poke as they possibly can. And because a lot of this poke is hitting multiple members on TL as they're kind of funneling through into this kind of shooting gallery, the start of the fight was looking fairly good for 100 Thieves. But then as 100 Thieves move forward, Doublelift, Smithy are all kiting back, and now it's Smithy looking for Cody-san.
Trying to find the big play, couldn't quite get it though. A flash out for Cody, and he was just out for Smithy. Still a good trade for TL side as they reach it back up between waves. And with their second Baron buff, they look to get a lot here. Elder Dragon under a minute, so they can choose to get whichever pieces they want right here, but this is still looking TL side.
Somebody's still sitting 0-0-0, 41 minutes into the game. Hasn't really been able to get too involved. I gotta give a lot of credit to Ryu, though. I think Ryu has played a hell of a game. Really has been looking good, but it's TL again with the Baron. All outers are already knocked down from the last Baron. They're looking to pressure these inhibitor turrets and potentially end the game.
Again, the Drowsy comes in, but easily picked up as Ole keeps his teammates safe and blocks most of the damage in doing so. 7,000 gold difference. Baron still on these members for quite a while. Pumpkin short rotation down to the bottom side. A Pillar's going to buy some few seconds, a few precious moments to keep the turret alive a little bit longer as they try to clear this wave away. But there's not a lot that stops Team Liquid from doing what they want right here. Attacks not coming through on the turret. Bot lane at half HP. Mid lane now being sold by Poelter. Will die in 2 more autos. Mid lane is now open. Bot lane nearly going down to cannons and does indeed fall. Elder Dragon alive and on the map, and TL starting to send just their jungler back to solo it.
Yeah, Malzahar moving down as well, and you can solo the Elder fairly easily. It doesn't really do that much damage and doesn't do the damage reduction as Poelter over the wall.
Finds an ult. Ryu burns QSS. He's going to stay just maybe alive. No, he does burn down. Good call out of Zayla. Solo kill for Poelter. Full HP. A stun now onto somebody. Has a flash to get away.
Yeah, and in the meanwhile, they're getting the Elder. They're still pressuring in the 4v5. They get a kill. They get a flash. TL in full control. Gonna knock down both inhibitors, and they look like they just want to stay and end.
Double inhib down. Elder down as well, and now Team Liquid literally on fire as they push in for the play on the Nexus turrets. 43 minutes into this one. First turret's gone. Time for the last stand. 4 versus 5. 100 Thieves is going to try to do the damage, but it's not going to be enough. Ando will fall. Make it a 5 versus 3. Running out of members, and the Thieves are being scattered. Their guild has been smashed. Team Liquid will rise to the top of North America to defend their championship so far. Solo first place for TL.
Such a strong game for them. One of the worst starts I have ever seen for Junko Smithy, has everything go wrong for him. The bot lane has to use both of their flashes. Smithy's doing his first camp at 3 or 4 minutes, 3 levels down, 5 camps behind, comes back into it. TL plays slow, they play steady, they played very well around their scaling and around their lanes, and I think that was a very strong game from them.
It absolutely was. To come back from a pretty significant deficit, the 2-on-2 looked winning the whole time. A lot of pressure down there from both sides, to be sure. Some good plays from Cody-san and Afro in lane, absolutely. They got some kills on Ole, but a lot of pressure came through from Smithy. 1 TP in from Poelter, and they finally made that one work down to the bot side. Double was a pretty big deal. Poelter actually highest damage on his team. Also had a pretty solid Malzahar game. One of the only players in NA to actually still run this champion. Looks good on it.
Yeah, was able to get down to bot lane with the TP effect there. Had the big flash ultimate actually that caught Cody-san out with his flash and QSS both down.
Yeah.
That really got them the first Baron, and I think really gave them control of the game for the first time. So pretty impressive stuff, but it's got to be frustrating for 100 Thieves. Ryu especially playing against a Tahm Kench. He was landing so many sleeps, but it doesn't actually matter if you hit the Sleepy Bubble Trouble when it's just getting devoured up by Tahm Kench, and then triple Ocean, double lifesteal on the Marksman, the Warmogs. It felt very hard for them to get a fight that would go in their favor, and I think 100 Thieves played a strong game, but
they did.
TL had a good draft and really just played a little bit better.
They did play a little bit better. I want to point out Someday as well, who still ended the game 0-0-0. Managed to not have much of an impact in this one. And he won lane. He had pressure. He was up farm. He stopped any TPs from coming out, really. Like, he had things to say, but the game was not about top lane.
Yeah.
The game then became about team fights. TL won all of those, and Impact was actually a pretty big performer. Like, of the 9 kills, Impact was part of 7 of them. Like, he was in more kills than Doublelift was, which is pretty impressive. Impact's team fighting still very strong.
Yeah, it definitely was very good. I do want to say, though, I don't think that Someday having no KP really reflects badly on him in this game, because I felt that he showed up to all the fights he needed to show up to. I think he played those fights out well. His team was just losing every fight past, 15 minutes, so he wasn't really getting any kills. And, he navigated the fights well, stayed alive, but in the end, it didn't matter. TL was the stronger team on the day.
In the end, TL was stronger on the day, and they are alone in first place. So to hear about the victory, setting it down for an interview with the first place top laner.
Thanks, guys. I am here with both the victorious Impact and our translator, Joanne. Congratulations on that win. Liquid now has sole possession of first place. What does that mean to you?
TL가 이제 팀 혼자 1등으로 올라갔는데요. 임팩트 선수의 의미가 뭐예요?
일단 저희가 1등을 했다는 거는 가장 지금 미국에서 가장 잘하고 있다는 팀이고 오늘 그래도 좀 많이 저희가 초반에 많이 무너지고 아쉬운 모습 보여주다가 그 다음에 괜찮게 다시 돌아오고 게임이 좋게 가가지고 왜 저희가 잘하는지 보여줬던 것 같긴 해요.
So our team being first place, it's something that we worked hard for and that we think we deserve. I felt bad in the beginning of the game because we didn't show, strong performance, but I'm really glad that we came back and it shows that we're the best in America.
And coming into this match, people were really hyping up the top lane matchup. People calling 100 Thieves the Someday show. What were you expecting from him today?
오늘 썸데이랑 같이 붙었잖아요. 그 레인 어떻게 된지 좀 말해주세요.
일단 기대하고 있었던 매치업이고 재밌게 갈 것 같았는데 저희 정글러가 3분의 1렙이라서 그냥 라인전 못했거든요. 그래도 잘하는 선수였고 라인전 잘하셨었어요. 제가 조금 실수했었고 좀 실수라기보다 그냥 정글러 없어가지고 많이 힘들었는데 솔직히 그래도 뭐 문도 뽑아주셔가지고 그냥 좀 편하게 했던 것 같아요. 뭔가 좀 썸데이 선수랑 캐리라는 이미지가 강하니까 좀 공격적인 거 할지 않을까 했는데 그래도 자신 있다 생각해서 초가스를 뽑은 건데 근데 뭐 문도 뽑아서 그냥 무난하게 갔던 것 같아요.
So I do think that the lane kind of didn't go as well in the beginning because we didn't have our jungler present. The matchup against Someday, we were also really excited. I was really excited to go against him, something that I looked forward to. I thought it would be, a fun time. And I'm really glad that they picked Mundo and I picked Cho'Gath. Like, he kind of goes aggressive in lane, but because he's picked like a really strong champion, I think it went well.
Fun time against Someday, but you guys actually had a little bit of extra help on stage today. Dodo stepped up as your assistant coach. What kind of an impact did he have on picks and bans?
이제 도로 코치가 이제 왔는데요. 그거 어떻게 도와줬어요?
도도 형이 헬스를 최근에 많이 다녀가지고 그러니까 짐을 많이 다녀가지고 운동도 하고 그냥 많이 도와줬죠. 그냥 좀 뭐 챔피언 말하고 그냥 전체적으로 잘 도와줬고 그 형이 헬스를 짐을 많이 갔었는데 운동하러 이때를 위해서가 아닌가 생각도 들고 잘하셨어요.
So I go to the gym a lot with Dodo, and he helps us out with our health and everything. I do think he helps us with the champion and picking our champions on the team.
Reapert is yelling at you from behind. Reapert, please, we're doing an interview. Okay, but jumping to the end, last question for you. You guys take on FlyQuest tomorrow. How are you guys going to keep your base safe from them?
초반에만 죽지 말자. 초반에만 너무 저희가 무너진 경우가 많아서 그것만 조심하면 저희가 충분히 이길 수 있다고 생각해요.
I think if we're able to protect our base and do well in the early game, that we'll be able to win no problem.
Well, thank you, and congratulations again on your win. And for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you, Avli. A feel-good win for Team Liquid after coming back from a disastrous level 1. But interestingly, to me, this split, I feel like Team Liquid has been on the disastrous end of level 1s almost too many times for a team that's sitting in first place now.
Yeah, you can think to the last game they played against Golden Guardians, where they were also actually even more so down. That's one where the Fiddle had the triple kill in the bottom lane. This one felt worse because of the experience advantage on top of the gold advantage, being level 1 4 minutes into the game, and also burning all your flashes at level 1.
Right, I mean, like, we all know for seasons, ever since his release, Braum is one of the strongest level 1 champions in the game, and to get forced out, chunked out on your Tahm Kench, and then walk back forward to volley a brush and then lose both flashes in the bot lane is beyond a bad idea. Like, it's actually disgusting that this is something TL thought they should have tried to do to force them off their own red buff.
Exactly, because what 100 Thieves did is exactly what a team with Braum does. They walk wherever they want to at level 1, and then the response of the other team is to just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Xmithie's too slow in doing that, but then this is the second time he's kind of done this. He recognizes he needs to back away, and then he goes back in anyway, where he is truly punished, with First Blood finally going over to Ryu.
Yeah, First Blood to Ryu, 4 flashes blown early in the
Both
game
buffs
for
taken.
Team Liquid. All your buffs taken, so
Both
got
scuttles.
4 buff from the beginning.
Yeah.
I believe he hit level 2 at exactly 4 minutes into the game. So by all accounts, one of the worst starts to a game, for a team, let alone a jungler, and yet the recovery came through, and we'll dive into a little bit about why Team Liquid was able to come back. But before we do so, I do want to take a look at the champion select, because I know we had some qualms with how Team Liquid maybe approached this draft.
Right, I actually think the level 1 was pretty disastrous when you factor in how the draft went. Like, I don't understand what the second half of this draft plan really was exactly, because you ban out 2 Mundo counters, the enemy team doesn't take it, and then you don't take the Mundo, you take the Cho'Gath, which is then a good matchup for the Mundo. And like you heard Impact saying, after the level 1, I don't have a jungler. Right. So they had no hope of maybe setting up some kills on Mundo pre-6 anymore, and that just allowed someday to get like a 30 CS lead.
Yeah, I had big qualms with that. However, they did have 2 Blade of the Ruined King auto attackers to take down Mundo, which will help in the overall game. And I think what ends up happening with the way these two teams play is, we talked a lot about 100 Thieves last week and how they are extremely good in the mid and late game, right? Controlling vision, winning late game team fights. 100 Thieves doesn't crush people. So the fact that they got that amazing level 1 on their Xmithie is still good, but it's not something they're actually going to capitalize on that much. It's just going to give them a bit of an advantage when they move into that later phase. And my biggest criticism in this game is to 100 Thieves' Varus build with lethality. They are a triple frontline team comp. And if you are to build a strong frontline, you need very strong, consistent damage dealers in just core League of Legends. So the fact that they had lethality Varus in that situation meant they just kind of ran out of damage in every late game team fight, whereas Team Liquid had percentage health damage up the wazoo, and they could kill the triple frontline.
Yeah, that's the thing, is both teams have, like, 100 Thieves has the better frontline, because not only do they have the triple tank, they also have the Trundle to shred the Cho'Gath when he starts popping his stone plate, and the amount that you steal from him is disgusting. But the problem is, you poke out that guy who doesn't have any armor anymore, which is great, but he still has 10k HP. It would be nice if when he has no armor, you are also stealing all that.
Doing % health damage,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So I agree with Jat. The Varus build was obviously more lane focused, and it felt like with how much attention was around the bot lane, that might have worked out, but because they're not a snowbally team, eventually it got to 3 or 4 items, and I would definitely take the action build.
It's made even more peculiar by the idea that if 100 Thieves knows they win their games mid and late, why are they necessarily playing for lane dominance?
Right. It's because Team Liquid wins through lane dominance, right?
So they wanted to stack up.
I think that's the explanation, but I also think if they go back and think about it again, they could change their mind.
So we get to this, kind of situation where, yes, 100 Thieves has a lead, and they did grow it. They grew it to, a 4K gold advantage over a period of time. But we have team fights. And at the end of the day, that's when these team comps, as we've just identified their strategies, start to interact with each other. And a really intelligent engage here from Pobelter, blowing his own flash for it to get him a 2 for 0 plus a Baron off the back end of it all.
Yeah, just a huge engage. He had his spell shield up, so the Trundle Pillar did not interrupt it. That was the 2 kills that turned that game around right there on the gold graph and gave them their first Baron. Stalls out after the first Baron for a period of time, but that gave them the room they needed to kind of start out scaling, and then eventually they found another fight and got them their second Baron.
Of course, that was a fight that quickly followed a previous one where the QSS was blown for Cody's son, part of why he was susceptible to that Malzahar ultimate. But the triple Ocean Drake and the sustainability of that Warmog's Cho'Gath is kind of what allowed them to keep that presence on the map for the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, and that helps so much against the poke. The other takeaway here is that Team Liquid is now alone in first place. And it's deserving. They have lost early games, but the game isn't is not decided in the first 5 minutes. As much as we want to keep saying like, oh yeah, the good teams close out all of these games.
Right.
Most of the truly good teams are good because they can come back from deficits. So Team Liquid's starting to get that point down, something that it didn't feel like they were that great of in the spring. This is another comeback victory against the #2 team in the league, which means Team Liquid is looking pretty strong.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You called it a feels-good win. Even though it had some bad moments, it still was a pretty definitive statement win that, like, we went up against what was our contention for the #1 seed, and we out-macro and out-team fought them in the mid to late game.
All right, but so great. I think it's wonderful if I'm a Team Liquid fan or I'm sitting in Team Liquid's boat, the idea that, hey, we can come back, and as you said, that's the mark of a good team. But that almost feels like step 10, and we've still forgotten about step 1, which is don't get behind at 5 minutes. This is right. Like, I mean, should we not shore up that weakness?
Of course.
If we're looking at Team Liquid moving towards 8-9 and another playoff
if
run.
If you're a coach, you love this win because you get the W, you prove that you're better, but you also have enough stuff you can needle your players about because you cannot do that on the world stage.
Right. Enough is enough with these crazy level 1s. It's time for us to take a break, but when we return, it's Cloud9 versus Clutch in Game 2. Don't go anywhere.
Wait, if he gets he can just get one shot.
He's just gonna die. Burst comes in, Ignite is on. Flash auto, that's enough to kill him. He's dead. First blood.
I'm looking turn to that. Kite this.
Look. Get him. Watch Mel to the left. Yeah, on the flash. Kite back, wait for Mel, there's Mel.
You got it.
Go. Oh, the flash ult as you called it. Azale isn't going to be enough damage. They spit the around the back, they get the pickup. And the rest of the team stays alive. Now the follow through and is going to drop as well.
They got Silas here. We can buy.
Barris 1 HP.
Oh, hey, we can Barris. I'm coming.
Trinity is going to try to do the damage, but it's not going to be enough. Ando will fall, make it a 5 versus 3, running out of members, and the Thieves are being scattered. Their guild has been smashed. Team Liquid will rise to the top of North America.
Welcome back to Assist of the Week. While pushing into Clutch Gaming's base, Ole's Rakan dove headfirst into Clutch Gaming. Carrying Pobelter's Shockwave into the fight allowed Team Liquid to push to victory.
And it was on Piglet as well. The person who had come through and had a really great stats against Doublelift. They say, shut that down. The past is in the past. And TL are here to clean this game up in 27 minutes.
TL, 27 minutes on the clock. 7